Hey, Marvin.
All right.
Hey, man, how are you today?
All right. Great. Well, I got my MetaMarvin Jack shirt on.
I see. All right. Right, that's funny, man. I have one of my followers designed a T-shirt. I got to share that. She, she's really into it and did a great, incredible job. Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being here, man. We have some super folks following us today. Big Mike and Kenya Crooks. You know, Marvin, you got to meet Kenya. Kenya is the personal trainer to the stars. I mean,
Oh, okay.
if Kenya can't get you whipped into shape, man, you need to stay on the porch.
All right.
Well, you know, our checkup Friday is a moment we come together at the end of the week to look at what we could have done, what we should have done, what we will not do anymore,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and then what we're going to fix about where we're going forward.
Right.
And so it's been very revealing because, you know, at the end of each week, when you know you have that Friday coming, you're like, man, I got to do something. I can't come into a Friday and like, man, I did absolutely nothing this week.
Right. Absolutely, man. I tell you, nah.
So tell me this, Bob. You know, I've been watching some of your stuff online, man, and I think you are really, I think, projecting a very powerful spiritual message.
Thank you,
And
brother. Thank you.
yeah, and maybe just sort of share that with our listeners today, because I see you moving on, brother.
Oh, man. Well, I'm so grateful, and thank you for having me on board. Dr. Herbert, I mean, it's just for me, I guess, with the principles and, people can categorize it, but it's just a relationship that once you have a good relationship with your God. The significant thing for me was it was just transcending it was just that one step of understanding that it wasn't something that a power or something that I had to go out somewhere out there to obtain it. It just was within myself, and getting it in yourself, then that means you have to discipline yourself, right? And once you understand that sustainable power, this infinite, and it's not going anywhere. It's in all, be all, alpha, omega, front, back, in people, places, and things. It changed my prayer life. It changed the purpose and direction for my life. And so I said, okay, Dr. Harris, not to harp on, just before I come, it just was being a Desert Storm veteran, putting my life out on the line at age 17. I graduated high school early, made 2 trips to the Desert Storm biological warfare. Was right in the middle of it, made 2 trips. And then coming back, I became, I would say, more aware of life. And a lot of that was negating a lot of fear that I had in my life, and I had to do a lot of self-learning. One, because I'm the only child out of 4 parents. When I say 4 parents, I had a stepmother, a stepfather, and of course biological mother, and I knew all 4 of them. Had a great,
Yeah.
long story, but I was the only child. So when I say that, not so much of material or the way I was treated better or had more, but coming from old spirits and coming from older people that was just down by law. You know what I'm saying? It made me grow up very fast, but it made me so much accountable. So when I put these practices with that, on top of that, I knew that I had to start doing something not only for me, but for other people as well. I knew it was something that was in me that it needed to be projected. So when I went out and I created the Black Ticketmaster, which was a sustainable ticketing platform in the United States. I don't know, people, of course, everybody might have heard of
Yeah.
Ticketmaster, of course. And I don't want to be race consciousness because that's nowhere where I'm at with it. But just to say that, and and create one that was in, ticketing modules, that was in convention centers. It was in these principles that we learn and we think about, and what, I'm so grateful for even, someone like yourself to have laid the way and share the information. But those was the thought process for me to say, wow, how can I, no, well, it's not a how in God, but for me to be in a consistent thought process to obtain something like um, ticketing modules that millions of people are going to be buying from my
Uh-huh.
system, and just to be able to interchangeably be the first
Uh,
one that someone that looked like me,
right. Right.
to be on that level. Um, and then from there, I just understood those was the effect of the calls, though, Dr.
Yeah.
Harris. It wasn't so much about the ticketing and the money, and oh, I was the first one to do it.
Yeah.
But I had to go start doing some self inventory on myself, and I said, wow, I went and did the ticketing concept.
Uh-huh.
I, when I got back to
Uh,
MetaMarvin, right? Um, COVID, I had a lot of time with myself again.
uh-huh.
And then I created something else that was called, well, people might have heard of the franchise Linden Tree, the
Yeah.
big Linden Tree.
Yeah.
So I created a banking model, and got into a franchisable model here in the Bible Belt banking capital here in
Uh-huh.
Charlotte. First one, the only one to have that as
Uh,
well. I just want to put that out there. But it goes back, that God and me, putting time in,
yeah.
putting the work in, getting quiet,
Yeah.
listening to that voice, getting out of my head and just letting God express through me.
Yeah.
I came up with another ticketing model.
Yeah.
So now I have to relax in that, Doc, and I have to know that those was just the effect of the
Yeah.
cause,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Those things that were showing up was because I was focusing on what I need to been focusing on,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so, that effect is always going to come from getting to the remembering. So we forget really who we are. We come into this world and we come into this life. Oh, I'm Marvin. I'm this. I'm the ticket master. I'm the fun. No, you're not none of those things. You're not even that meat suit you're in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're a spiritual image and likeness of the Most
Yeah.
High, and He needs to show up whatever way you want to show up. It's you have the will to do whatever you want to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you keep that forefront in your mind, and be humble, and understand that it will lead you into places that you would never even phantom, or you could maybe imagine, and it'll show up,
Yeah.
but it's even greater than
Right.
that.
Wow.
Um,
So you,
so I'm just using this platform, Doc, just to impress upon people that anything is capable of showing up, as long as you can accept that.
well, you know, my,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, you know,
Hmm.
you've hit a lot of places, I think, that touch people. I think I'm gonna start with one. I often look at life as like an infinitely tall skyscraper. It's like
Hmm.
a state building. It's 102 stories. Okay. And as you move on your journey through life, you're on an elevator.
Right.
As your
Hmm.
consciousness rises, you now can get off at higher floors. The floors are always there. Okay.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
if you get there, you don't even realize it. Some people get in the Empire State Building, they think there's only 4 floors, because the first floors are like the platform, and they
Right.
never high powered elevators.
Right.
Yeah. So I can see that growth, that process of, like, I guess the first step, you got to know that there are other floors.
Yes. Hmm. Right.
that's
Right.
that patient thinking.
Hmm.
If you think 4 floors, then you'll never go down the hall to the other elevators.
Right. Right, 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 right. And you're absolutely right about that, man. And I when I try to carry my message with the MetaMarvin platform, It's always bigger than me. Coming up again, raised with a lot of being around my grandmother, being around old spirits, people that love God where they were in consciousness and awareness. For me to not take it to another level, but to be able to read more and to be open at the
Yeah.
top to receive more. Once I received more of the information, and I really didn't get so into the aspects of religion or the that. I just had to be open to spirit. I was also had to be accountable to come back to the people that told me about, okay, this is what God is and this is what we should do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I decided to, okay, hey, I'm going to take a leap of faith and I'm going to resign from the Veterans Hospital once I got out the military.
Uh-huh.
And people thought I was crazy. Oh, you gonna go try to get this ticketing thing, man? And everybody has that aha moment, or someone telling them that not that they can't, but people thought they was crazy,
Uh-huh.
and that's a whole new definition of crazy, right? We know that ain't even that's not no such
But
thing, really.
like I look at most of the people who achieve great things, it's like, man, they're crazy rich because they get out of that mold.
Yeah,
But you know, one of the things that we're talking, many times I meet people now who, you know, they were Baptist, they were Methodist, and but they're like searching for something.
right.
And they begin to find new thought, you know. So I know you had a transition from
Mhm.
like you might say traditional religion, traditional values into this new thought, this very holistic approach to the
Right,
universe.
right.
And what were some of the steps that, you know, sort of took you from that thinking to the new thinking that you demonstrate? Because once you got the new thought, you manifested it in action and
Right.
made things happen. What was that transition like?
Um, It was steps. Again, I was always a very diverse, charismatic type, always a go-getter. Hey guys, let's do this, or let's run this extra mile. I was a three-sport athlete, was very active. So when I did get in the military, I always, I pushed myself to want to be relatable to most people that a lot of people was relate to. So my first thing is when I had took a trip, and and we were in Japan up in the mountains, and I was able to go with an individual that he was American born, but he had family there. And I can't remember the village, but anyway, but make a long story short, I ran up on a man that was his uncle, and he had never met him before either. And when I met him, Dr. Harris, it was a situation that I had, like when you say you ran up on a man of God and you could just feel the fire on him.
Mm-hmm.
You could just feel God, the presence of God, the omnipresence on this man. But when I met this little 5'2" man, I guess with the time and the meditation and the presence and just the relationship and that love energy, it was almost at a point of, I guess, like they said, that he hit that glow that I couldn't even really. It was love, but I almost had to humble myself. Like in Malcolm X, when he ran into Malcolm X, ran into Elijah, he had to fold down.
Mm-hmm.
It humbled me because it shook everything that I knew of God, and I said, "Oh my God," But in my mind, this man had never read the Bible. This man didn't know any English. This man didn't. This man didn't. So I said, "Hold on, checkmate.
Mm-hmm.
What? Oh man, God is way bigger than this now. What?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you mean to tell me that, this man ain't going to this church on every Sunday? This man ain't what I just felt. So I had to go do some self-inventory on myself
Mm-hmm.
before I could go and say, oh, you wrong again. And I'm still not trying to tell anybody you're
Mm-hmm.
wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I say tap in, because you might learn a little bit more, not only about the world, yourself, the balance, duality, and everything else that's going on around you, because God is in everybody and in everything, man. You know, and that was the first step. Second step, I got the movie The Secret. It's behind me. You remember The Secret came out?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we all know it was commercialized. It was one of the laws of many laws, you know, law of attraction, da da da. But I said, oh wow, somebody done got a hold to something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wound up going to more of a it was sort of a science to mind type platform here in the city and in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it was just around being like-minded people. In the first two businesses that I created, Doc, it was called Secret. My first travel agent, celebrity travel agency, was called Wilson Secret Travels. My that ticketing company that I told you that I created,
Mm-hmm.
Wilson Secret Tickets. My grandmother always told me, whatever you call it, that's what it is.
Right.
But that was just it to keep me balanced, to keep my mind, to keep me focused on not getting so much of the world. Knew what this thought process was coming from. I called it Wilson's Secret. So that was another chapter that got me into moving into understanding how things can show up.
Mm, mm, wow. Well, you know, another aspect of what you've done, you know, in our book, in the 12 Universal Laws of Success, is a section called Mastering the Riddle of Survival.
Mm,
And that,
I like that.
as a part of your spiritual growth is to master the material world.
Right.
You know, even you look back on the master teacher Jesus, they say, well, what happened those first 33 years?
Right. Right.
Well, first 33 years. And I postulate that he was mastering the material world.
Right.
So that, because you heard it, ever heard of him in the Bible of needing a job, of being broke?
Yeah, right.
You know, Herman Hesse wrote a book called Siddhartha. And
Mm-hmm.
Siddhartha, about that journey when he was following the master Govinda Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
And in essence, he had to learn. And after he'd done all the spiritual studies, he still had to go out and master the material world. The spiritual studies helped him be more centered. So now he used his spiritual powers to make the material world do what he wanted it to do.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, you won one on that one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, so and I think that's a model for our listeners, that sometimes people get so much into the spiritual world, like, I don't need money. You got to handle that stuff so that you can uplift your gift. We live in a world that's a balance between spiritual and material, and you can't one side and not the other.
Right. That's right. That's true. That's absolutely true. Yep.
And so that idea of that riddle of survival, get your money out of the way, do the things that create that, so that you will get off of that rat race, that, you know, like, man, waiting for Friday for payday, you know, where your dreams are on the installment plan. It's hard to lay away a dream.
Yeah. I want people to see this. This is something that I'm going to be pushing here. I don't hopefully want to take it off, but it's called meta economics, if you can see that.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing, Doc, is I'm the same thing that you're talking about. My whole movement, of course, is definitely has a lot to do with God's business, but it's a lot of times it's sustainable because, again, 3D 50, money every day, you know, autopilot, 9 to 5, but in my message, a lot of times when I'm, because now I still, you know, I work in the financial world. I get small businesses funding, and money and, you know, lending, and of course, but the theory of being able to go out and see people go get all this money and get all this worldly or whatever they need to get to that next level. But just like sometimes with the lottery, if they don't have the consciousness, you know, and sometimes those consciousness means not so much even the spiritual realm, but the consciousness mean is that if I have if I've had $5 million for the last 5 years, that means that I've been around, should have been around the same like-minded millionaires to sustain those $5 million for the last 5 years, right? Meaning attorneys, mentors, relationships, networking, my circle. But when you give it in that reciprocity from the universe, when you just give somebody $5 million and, not that where they were, they didn't have it, but you just gave it to them.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's $5 million, man. Thank you for being a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he might have been, hey, God is no respecter of persons. That's an inside job.
Yeah.
But principles,
Yeah.
if you just give it to him, he ain't gonna know what to do with it. He's gonna not, he don't know how, he's not gonna know how to manage it. And I bringing out some messages now with the meta economics and some things I'm putting out, because I say, when you're talking about God, or I would say the Most High, the creator of this universe, it's like universe, one song, one verse. It's your song. It's what you're saying to yourself. It's your self-image and definition of who you are first with the money.
Yeah.
And money ain't the fiat. It's not the green stuff, Doc. Money, and I've looked at it and you done read it. Money is my own natural energy yield. MONEY. It has nothing to do with the green stuff. How do I feel when I wake up in the morning?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What am I saying to myself? Who do I feel? Who do I feel I can call on the phone and I can talk to? I don't care if they worth $30 million. I do that every week. I said, let me call the richest person that I can. And it's not about what he got or trying to take away from him. It's just about me being able to energetically speak on the level and be conscious enough that we can have a rhythm and we
Yes.
can talk,
Wow.
right?
Yes.
And those where the ideas come from. Those were the magnificent, the morale, the conversation, and the just intuitive gifts that people that have gotten there and then been sustainable to get it. So you got to have these words in your head, man, the right words.
But it's looking. Quentin is a investment banker. He's now has a big insurance agency down in Atlanta.
Right.
And he was saying, he said, it's not about money, it's about the karma. Money does not, it's only karma. And for that, Quentin, that took me, Reverend John Coleman out of Chicago. She used to say, money.
Johnny Coleman. Yes.
I spent some beautiful time sharing with her. And she used to say, money is the getting potential of your self-image.
Wow. I love it. I love it.
Attract just as much money as the vibration, as Quentin is saying, that karma, that you're sending out, you attract just enough money. It balances out. If you're sending out $1 million energy, you attract $1 million things. So it ain't about the money, it's like energy.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right, brother. You're absolutely right on that. Hey, and I had to learn that the hard way. I sometimes I said, going back, my journey, but being able to just be around the people with the ideas. And again, thank God to be able to express. This is Check-In Friday. You guys got to big ups again to Dr. Harris, because it gets your day going when you sometimes can go back in your own journey and think about, wow, what got me there? So just the thought of, think about it. Now, we talk about distractions, right? And we talk about things that we're looking at. We got the Netflix, we got the basketball, we got the football. We got all this stuff going on all the time. It might be us, it might be the kids. We trying to, keep our kids' mind right, but they mind all over the place. So it's all these things that can keep our mind away from really what's going on. So I say, I thank God for the God in me to give me the idea, because when I talk about my journey, I want to specifically talk about the reason, my why. The why that I got into the ticketing, though, Doc, is really profound, because I wanted to be able to see. I played 3 sports myself. I saw all these maybe thousands, football games, hockey, Beyonce, Jay-Z. I did it. But the thing is, what people don't understand is, if we want to look at currency, if we want to look at the thought process of being entertained, when you go to a building, when you go to a concert, when you go to a football game, when you go to that building and you exchange your money or online that money for a ticket, right? But see, you can't get in. Your money ain't no good until it turns into that ticket, right?
Right.
So what about that little gray area between the value of the money? We know what that is in the ticket. Dr. Harris, do you know I used to have a printing machine that could print millions and millions of tickets for like under a cent, 1 cent per ticket.
Yeah.
But if I would put Michael Jackson, Jay-Z on that ticket, now all of a sudden that piece of paper turned from below a penny up to a couple $100. So I was printing money, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about how you can will yourself into situations just with a thought process. You understand what I'm saying? Anybody can do it.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to share on the MetaMarvin, Doc, that anybody can put themselves in the right places and people, places, and things, but you got to be vibrating at that level. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Wow.
It's amazing what God can do through us as us, man. And he'll show up. Well, I don't want to put a he or she. I don't want to even put that on that. I don't want to get gender when it comes to that. I got to be specific with that.
Yeah.
Because if you can create a certain image, a human life form image, then you done brought that thing down.
Yes.
It's way bigger than that.
Wow.
It's
Marvin,
way bigger than that for me.
we got people. I see Dr. Rogers. He's a professor that from different colleges. He said, "Wow, printing money. I love that, man." And
Yeah.
thought as currency. Yeah, it's all about.
It is.
All about
It
vibration.
is.
Wow. Well, you know what? What I've learned today, Marvin, we got to do this. We got to do a series because I can hear, and you can see how people are responding. And those of you who are listening, I thank you for sharing it with other people. And please share this broadcast with many other people as you can, because we got to do a series, man.
Yeah.
Because the interaction that we have, our people, Lynette, a real estate broker from New Jersey, she said, "Thank you, Lynette."
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Queen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. When we come together, I think, and we just had Black Man Sundays. Corey out of Florida, who has a great, and he's got to have you on his show, Mom, because he has a powerful program.
Right.
Of discussions, man, and promote it and let people plug in and send in some of their questions and just let it happen and take it. I think we'll be able to create a vibration that, knowledge comes to people through energy, through the vibration. And they don't have to work at it. It's
right.
Open it's like you get off that elevator on the 39th floor. You don't get there unless you got the consciousness to get there. So
right. And with this time, and I will close it, man. Anybody, when I say this is an information society right now. There's certain things have came across, even public TV. They calling this the resignation era. People are saying, "Hey, I don't want to live on this job. I call job just over broke." Nothing against my guys out there on a 9 to 5 now. I respect my nurses, my doctors, my professionals. No, but always keep going in within yourself and action yourself. Is anybody going to be able to pay you for what you're really worth? That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. When I say that just over broke, meaning that the guy that owns that kid, the idea, could be a good guy. I don't know what that situation may be, but you need to look at yourself as being that same person that could do the same thing. You have a gift too. Everybody does. And, Dr. Harris, my whole meta-economics, I said, is getting paid weekly, is it W-E-E-K or is it W-E-A-K? Because ain't nobody going to tell me how much money I'm going to make every week. You can't do that. You can't do that to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like the old woman holding her
Yeah,
pearl. Like, you can't do that to me,
yeah, yeah.
you know?
Thank
But
you.
it's
Yeah.
God, man.
Woo,
It's
woo.
God, brother.
Well, I see Corey. Corey said he just followed your link. That's Black Man's Son.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's it, brother. That's it, man.
You know, I tell you this, and MetaMarvin and I, we're gonna get together and we're gonna do a series of talks
Let's
and
do it.
let us know it and start maybe having questions and answers. We're gonna put something
Okay.
together that's gonna help just lift everybody up. They say rising tide lifts all ships. End of the strong, not of the weak. Yes, yes.
There you go. See, yeah, there you go. That's it right there. That's it. Absolutely, man. But yeah, I think people need this information. They need these words. They need to understand who they are. Remember, man, just go back to the essence of who they are before all these titles and you know, accolades and all these things that people put up, you know, hey, you're this, you're that, that's hot, that's cold, go left, go right.
Yes.
And just get centered again, man, and understand that just me, I just always felt that, you know, we signed up for this contract, man, you know, but we got to remember who we are to sign for that contract, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
and we really got to be God expressed, man. So I put in my shirt, God in us as us.
Yes.
That's Meta Marvin.
Yes.
That's what up, you know, that's it, man.
Well, Marvin, I'm telling you, thank you so much for being here. You have shared some powerful words with us. Quentin says it's a good idea. We're going to put this together, Quentin. Every one of us of God need to remember who we are.
That's
And
it.
really, we're going to put some energy into this. I thank you so much for being with us
Thank you.
today, Marvin. I look forward to working with you in the future. Give us your website, Marvin, because I see that Corey's already gone and found you. What's your website?
Yes, it's of course it's metamarvin.com.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if y'all see it, it's MetaMarvin72.
Mm-hmm.
You know, definitely reach out, man. I'm definitely open to, you know, I'm really about being charismatic around our people that got gifts, talents, that's into this spiritual help that's out here.
Yes.
And I want to be able to, team up, with anybody that's like-minded that just want to change people's minds and concepts about who they are, man. I'm ecstatic about it. And I appreciate you, having me jump on, Doc.
All
Thank
right.
you, man.
I tell you, I just made a note here. I got to, you just gave me a great idea. I'm going to put it down.
Huh?
Thank you, Marvin.
You said idea. See, you said idea, right?
Yes, yes.
Ah,
Yes,
uh-huh.
yes, 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 yes. Well, folks, this is Dr. Herbert Harris. This has been another edition, a super edition of Checkup Friday. I know that you have checked yourself up from the neck up in your thinking. So that you think big enough. If it's not for you, it's because you're not dreaming big enough. Do that checkup part down.
That's
Get
right.
the things you want to be, the things you want to have, the experience of life that you want you and your family to just live it. If you
That's
can
it.
live the dream, it's for real and it's for you.
Oh,
Right?
yep, that's it. I confirm and I concur, and we affirm to that. We know that, and we're gonna have to say, and so it is.
Yes. So, okay, folks, tune in. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're here at 8 a.m., different programs, but we're going to be hearing a lot from MetaMarvin, and you all tune in and bring your vibrations because you give us things that help us. Your energy we feed off, your interest we feed off, and you feed off ours. And so it is. Remember this, you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it
That's it. That's it. All right, man.